Hi, welcome to the July podcast. Um, I'm joined here today with Ashok. Recently, we had an email that we put out where we asked for your suggestions of what you wanted to hear about the lab, what we're doing, and a little bit more information. So one of the trends, it wasn't the major one, but one of the things which I think is very important is about remakes, adverse situations, and how we deal with it in the lab. So first of all, Ashok, welcome. I just want to ask you to introduce yourself because people haven't properly met you. They've seen you on the other podcasts, but a little bit of a background of yourself.
Yeah, cool. So my name's Ashok. I'm the Chief Compliance Officer here at CosTech. Been working here for sort of 15 or so. I think it's 15 years, coming up to 16. I've got a background in law and dental materials manufacture. So I was initially brought into CosTech to basically help get them set up with the Damas lab management system. Essentially, when I came in, the lab already had its production protocols and like manners and like everything all handled. But it was essentially to formalize it, get it down in black and white. This is how we run, set up, help out basically with like making the training routine, and then working more closely with admin and technical teams to essentially monitor it, making sure everything's like going through smoothly, and handling with case management and essentially monitoring client interactions and feedback. So making sure we're where we need to be and also where clients want us to be. So a big part of that now is monitoring feedback, not just for adverse feedback, remakes and things, but also just feedback generally that we get through the lab portal. So if you've ever sent given a star rating or given a feedback comment or anything on CosTech portal, you should have had an email from me saying thank you and just like quickly breaking down what we're going to do with your feedback, what we do, how we write it up, how we hand it over to auditors, and how we deal with it internally as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's been a massive shift because like seeing the lab growing up, it was the transition from like the cottage industry through to where we are now with compliance and also a lot of standard operating procedures. It's a lot more formulaic, which means that if we want to put changes in place, makes it a lot easier. So you saw some of the feedback coming through. So what was kind of like the feedback that people wanted to know?
Essentially, we do get periodically just people asking for, how can we just like qualify, just reiterate what is our policy on remakes? But obviously, with this is just the thing with the internet. But, like if I tell you, you won't be surprised at this, but the feedback that we get through the lab portal, like probably like 90% of it, but actually more than I can give you the exact stats in a bit, but the vast majority of it is everything is 5 stars. Like, great. Most of it doesn't have any comments, which is it's nice to get 5 stars, but what's better is to get like an actual written bit of. Could you just take a few seconds to tell me why was it 5 stars? That'd be really helpful. And the next most common thing after 5 is 1. It's very, very low.
Nothing in between.
There's nothing in between. That's how all of these things work. But the really, really useful ones are where we get like 4 or whatever else. But the main thing is you're saying, what do we do with that feedback? And I was like, okay, let's break that down. And then it tied in. I think, did you say you saw something on LinkedIn the other day, like a video of someone saying labs don't talk about remakes enough or something? And I was like, actually, that's a very good point.
I think it's one of the weird things of so David, he's actually in Malta at the moment, sunning it up. But one of his favorite phrases, and because I share the office with him, one of his most commonly used phrase is all feedback is good. And it most definitely is, good or bad. If we're doing something good, we want to keep hitting that button again and again. If something's bad, we want to look into it and stop doing it and find out why it's happening. But also, it's the perception of when you have got a remake. You're sitting there looking at it going, yeah, it's an adverse situation. And at the end of the day, it's the patient is the one that's like suffering their inconvenience. It's an added layer of stress that anyone can do without in their life. But what we say is, yeah, if you've got a remake, talk to us about it. Let's actually get into the reasons why, and let's take emotion completely out of the context of it, because as soon as emotion gets into it, we can't get to logical solutions.
Yeah, I think that's the thing we were saying about logical solutions. That's the aim. That's what we need to get to. The first thing, like, let's just put it out there. Whenever we're like trying to bring on new clients or something, if you ever saw us at an exhibition, or if you've had one of our drivers, or you've had like David or one of our techs turn up at the practice and speak to someone, remakes is not going to be top of the list for us to talk about. Because why would we want to start there? It's like the most negative thing really that can happen with us. That's not what we want. How we want to like get these conversations started off. It can be embarrassing on both sides. Like we all take our work to heart. We take it personally. This is something that we care about, and we're all human. So it's very, very easy to see like why these conversations become awkward. I think we were saying the other day about like we need to remove the ego to look at it objectively and say like it's so simple. Like the easiest thing is just to point fingers.
Yeah.
Like that Spider-Man meme of them pointing at each other like, yeah, it's your fault. I did this and you should have done that. And it's like, well, that's the trap. That's what we need to collectively avoid on both sides.
I think very early on, like, so there was years ago when I was still, I think I was just started secondary school. I was in the lab, so the lab was still in the basement at the surgery, and Mum had the practice, like the 4 clinic rooms above, and Dad was like, "Oh, can you go and ask your Mum for a new impression?" So I, yeah, okay. And I run up the stairs. Mum, Dad wants a new impression. No, it's fine. Go back down. Dad, Mum said it's fine. Then straight away you see the look on the face, and I'm just like, I'm out. But in hindsight, you're looking back at it, you're actually seeing 2 people looking at the same impression from 2 different things. So on one side, on the technical side, it might be like, right, technically, I can't do it because of this. But on the clinical side, that's the best that I could possibly do, because it could have a non-compliant patient. It could be that the gag reflex was just so bad. It's like, I don't want to put the patient through any more trauma. So that's when we say, look, let's just see if we can do the best that we can for the patient. But something like that can escalate very quickly, because if I did another run up, I'll be like, oh, don't shoot the messenger. But
Yeah. So that's when your training began, yeah?
That's when the training began, yeah.
Okay.
But then
Cool.
it's also being able to see firsthand, like how to actually take emotion out of the situation and just look at it from a subjective point of view to say, no, this is where we are right now. So even if you've got a remake, we are here in this instant right now, regardless of what's happened before. Let's see what we can do to get the patient with a crown, with the device, and actually get the patient happy again. And then we can go back and look at and start pointing fingers at each other. But let's get the patient out the way first.
Objective point of view.
Objective point of view.
Sorry, that would really bug me if I let it go. I know I've got to stop
Compliance.
that. Compliance, yeah. So, I mean, the simplest thing, if you start with the boring bit, just get it out of the way. Like, technically, our official remake policy, the website one.
Yeah, so basically, all remakes, when it comes in, it actually undergoes, it's almost like an MOT. There's a checklist that we have to go through, basically, so we can review where things went wrong, where we can actually try and stop things from happening in the future. But we reserve the right to charge for all remakes. Do we charge for all remakes? No, because sometimes it's easier just to get on and make the crown rather than trying to like point fingers. Times that we do always do it if there's a change in prescription. So if someone said, oh, I want a full metal, now I want a zirconia, it's a remake technically, but it's a change of prescription. Mm-hmm. So in a nutshell, that's where we stand on that side.
Would that, just for clarification, would that include like materially different impressions? Putting you on the spot, but it's one of the things that people ask is like, well, you've asked for a new impression, like how different does it have to be considered a change in prescription?
It's if we made a crown and then like basically an analog impression comes in, we made a crown, it's come back as a remake, and now it's coming through as a digital. I would actually treat that as one and the same, just because sometimes there are certain cases where if say you've got a very subgingival prep and digital scan can't get to it, you can't get enough retraction core to actually see the margins, you need to get an impression, but you thought that you could get the scan of it. So even though it's changed, the only time that we might say no, there is a charge or a half charge is if there's a major reprepping.
Sure.
The other instance is when we review impressions coming through or scans and we say, oh, we need more spaces. We've only got 0.2 mils. We need 0.3 mils. Can you adjust the prep and get the patient in again? And I went, no, just carry on. And then it comes back for remake. We said, well, this was already highlighted as an issue. You told us to go ahead. So this issue has now arisen. So that's when we will look at it and say there will be a charge on there.
Yeah, I mean, on that, it's a slight tangent, but we sometimes get those where they're saying, this was like that conversation that we've had about can we adjust here, or you're going to have an issue there, and then by the time we then work on it, it might then be like 3 or 4 days later before the dentist actually comes to fit. They might not have the notes there to hand on that. So we're including those cards in with cases that are going out anyway.
Yeah.
The new docket system is gonna. It's not ready yet, but it's coming soon. The universal docket should be helping out with that as well, right?
Yeah. So this new docket system, absolutely amazing. So basically, if you contact the lab for anything and all the communication, even though you can see it on the portal, and you've got notes on that we keep, we're actually going to be printing a fresh docket with details of the communication that we've had. It's just because it's like you've got so many patients and you might talk to us from so many cases. Like, what did I say about this? Oh yeah, I said this because I'm going to do this chair side later on. It just helps remind communication without having to boot up onto the portal as well.
Yeah. So we've publicly spoken about that, so it has to happen now.
It has to happen.
No
We're locked in.
yeah.
We're locked in.
Yeah. Right. So we've spoken about when it comes in, effectively like the equivalent of the MOT. So we'll get David or Jigger or Richard, whichever one of the team is handling this remake, is going to write it up, go through the checklist, and they'll have to assign the reasons for remake.
Yeah. So we've got various categories.
Sorry, yeah, go on.
So we've got various categories. So sometimes it could come back and something simple as not fitting, short margins, high bite, shades. Those are kind of like the top ones. So the first thing we do is we review, does it fit the impression or the scan that was provided? Because we can only make something on what was provided. So if there was an inconsistency between the data acquisition, be it analog or digital, we make sure we've done everything on our side. Now, it used to be, we went through, I mean, you probably remember this, it was a good few years ago, we just took a hard line saying, if it fits everything, we're going to charge. And I don't know how many people we upset.
Well, I think if you're right, we tried to be inflexible, and it wasn't, I don't think we were comfortable with it as a lab either, right? So
yeah,
it's not really who we are. And to be honest, like I say, with everything there's give and take, you have to be able to, it's not a binary thing. Like, it's a difficult industry that we work in.
I think everything that we're making, because everything is completely unique, which is why, as much as we're trying to get those remake levels down to 0, I don't think it will ever become 0, but we can always strive to actually get there, right, as close to the level. I think we'll go through some stats later on, which is quite nice to always
we'll come to the stats. That's our feel good moment.
Yeah.
Right, so we'll get as the remakes go through, so that's one side of it, is the actual remake reports that have drawn up, and obviously the stats are collated across the year. Alongside that, we'll have the portal feedback that I mentioned earlier, where people give the star ratings, and again, like as they come through, those can be really useful, because quite often what we'll get, I really like if a dentist has said, regardless of the star rating, they'll say, I liked X about this case, or this one was different from something else because of this. And most times, it's like, a lot of it would just be fluff. We'll always pass that on, by the way, to technicians. So don't think, oh, you're just spitting into the ether. Everything that gets written there, Like some of them are just really nice, like, oh, can you let the technician know the patient was so pleased with this, blah, blah, made their day. We pass that on, it always gives the team a boost. But there's a few of them where we saw a few cases were saying, oh, I think it was a spacer issue or something like that in the end. But I remember like pointing out, and then David was like, oh, have you noticed that we kept having zirconias with this thing coming up recently? There was like a little spate of them across the week. And there was something that we were able to identify and like cut out very quickly.
Yeah, I
And
think
that
it
was
was
really useful.
is recognizing the trends, and this is why the feedback's good, because we can get things nipped in the bud very quickly. Because with that one, they were saying everything was coming in tight, and we just saw a spat of them coming through. And when we actually looked into it, we could look at right who on the technician line was working on these ones, and then we managed to get it down to which was the person, the machines, and then the milling machines. And it turned out that it was actually a miscalibration on one single machine. But without that feedback, so even though people were adjusting it chairside and still fitting it, it didn't come back for a remake. Just messages go, I had to adjust this one. I never have to adjust. Why? But that we got it down. So before it was lots of cases, it was just a handful of cases that got affected.
Yeah. I just looked for my own curiosity, but I said earlier everything's like 5 and next is 1. It's not. It's almost everything is 5, and then 4, and then 1. There's like nothing at 2 or 3.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the internet for you. But yeah, our average rating is about 4.53 out of 5. Yeah, that's a little bit lower than it has been, but that's cool. We're working on it. So we've got the remake rates, the feedback, basically all of those reports, any trends that we spot and changes that we make over the year, that's collated into basically one massive report that we pass over for Damas, but that's also reviewed by team managers and the directors as well each year.
Yeah.
And that'll basically, well, that's when we sit down and have our end of year discussions and then try and work out directions that we need to take over the coming year or additional training or anything like that. Basically trying to spot things before they spin out and become a problem.
Yeah, I mean, and also especially when we have relatively new products. So DigiDentures was one of our biggest launches that we've had in recent times. And the feedback, because we have got that feedback system and people using it massively, very quickly we realized the learning curve, because the team was learning how to do the design side of things and trying to force all of that feedback back in. And where we were getting some fractures coming through, we very quickly, because we've got all the data all pulled into one place, realized that a lot of it is where immediates were being made, which is why now many of you've seen, if we've done an immediate on a DigiDenture, you're getting the cards through just saying, get the patient back. I think anytime doing immediate, the patient should be coming back for a possible reline in 3 months or even earlier, just to review it, just to make sure. But DigiDentures especially, it seems to be more susceptible when we are doing immediates that they need to have a reline.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, without it, we could be going a year and we get to the end of year review and we're like, why is this product not working? It's like, well, we didn't pick this up right at the beginning.
Well, that leads us nicely into, so you'll have a bit more to say on the actual split on this, but so when I started in 2010, 2011, we were still like a majority analog workflow. And then 2012, that's when we started doing en masse laser sintering for metalwork. And that was like the start of like everything switching internally to digital. So even for clients sending analog impressions, the vast majority of starting off with Crown and Bridge and then moving over, obviously, was all done starting to become digital. So that, for me, it made my job really easy, or easier. Like it dovetailed nicely with the Damas stats, because like we are stats junkies. We like it. It really helps us. It's like a cheat code for looking at things within the lab. But that introduction of digital workflows helped us track everything. And also it did change the way that we were handling remakes. I think what have I got here? According to my notes, we were prior to that, the aim was to keep remakes, lab fault remakes, below 1%. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So that's regardless of what the issues were, but essentially anything that could possibly be ascribed to the lab was keeping it below 1%. And then with the introduction of digital workflows, it became, right, how close can we get it to zero?
Yeah.
So from just like over the last few years, 2023, we were at 0.58 on lab fault remakes. The year just gone, we were at 0.27% lab fault remakes. So it has been a case of that's a massive difference that we can attribute, I think, in huge part down to the digital workflows. So, well, we've obviously got increased accuracy, our ability to spot trends and arrest them and change them before, rather than getting like a whole year's worth of issues and then spotting it, we can see them before they develop. And also the machine consistency, like once we fix the problem, it stays fixed, if that makes sense. And that led to our internal line. So as we've been speaking about for the last few years, like amongst the marketing side of it, we try and think to ourselves of what does the dentist want, what don't they want? And one thing that we keep coming back to and thinking about is this idea of the last thing that this is us putting ourselves in the dentist's shoes. That to us, we're thinking the last thing the dentist wants when they open the crown box or the denture box, whatever, and they're in front of the patient is the last thing they want is a surprise.
Yeah, exactly. It's I've been in the surgery. The worst thing is seeing the disappointment on a patient's face because they've geared themselves up thinking I'm going to be walking out of here with a smile, but now that's been delayed and it could be like another 2 weeks before they do it. They've taken time off work. So it's our job to make sure that we get it as close to that zero as we can. So when the patients go away, they go away happy because then they're going to tell their friends and they're going to go back to the same practice. But
is that reduction on the stress of the dentist? We don't want them to be thinking, "Oh, I really hope everything's gone okay." Like,
didn't we get? We got a review recently. I don't know if you remember. Someone said it goes about their stress.
Yeah, we got a Google review, Dr. Sturgey. I've got it here.
Thank you very much.
I've been using this lab for a few months now. The lab work I've been receiving has been brilliant. Communication with the technicians is great. And my stress levels when fitting anything have dropped significantly.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. It's yeah, all the hard efforts that we put in, that's exactly what we want to hear. And like as a whole, we just want people. Dentistry, as stressful as it is, the last thing you want is the lab adding on to it. So any time that we can help reduce your stress levels, we're working on the lab side. We can't come in and give a back rub or anything and try and help the stress levels anymore on that side. But anytime we can keep you happy, that's our main goal.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing along that same note, in terms of, so for us, we're talking about like the consistency of the fit and everything and just knowing that everything's going to be all right on the day. We had another review from last year. It was on the satisfaction feedback where a dentist said they enjoy opening up the crown already knowing that it's going to fit great. And like that for us internally was like a vindication of that's what we've been aiming for. That's what the ethos that we want to instill. We want our clients to just have that confidence in the product. I think digital workflows have been massive in helping us achieve that alongside our management system and our approach to remakes. And basically, as you say, looking at it, step one, get the patient smiling, get them happy. Step two, right, now can we analyze and see what the cause was and what can we take forward from that?
Yeah. I think recently we overheard a conversation that Dave was having. In quick succession, one of our clients had to adjust 2 crowns for the first time in 4 years. And the stress levels went up because it's like, well, I never have to adjust. And now I've had 2. But they're not stressed about that 1 or 2. They're now stressed that there could potentially be a 3rd. And this is where they got on the phone and called us up and said, look, that's fine. We can put an actual marker on it. So if you are experiencing any sort of like adverse quality, let us know, because we have the QC systems in place that we can put an extra set of eyes on it. We can double check things, and actually we put a review process on it, so we are checking everything from the beginning. So as soon as the impression is coming through, we can check that everything is being done as per our SOPs. And straight away,
standard operating procedures.
Yes, sorry.
Just we use so much jargon in the lab. And I'm trying
we use so many acronyms
to remember.
well. Yeah,
just stop using acronyms and just say it as it is.
But with it, we can actually say it's like sometimes just having a set of eyes on it is just having the confidence, knowing that yes, okay, everything's going to go back to normal, and yeah, the lab's not causing me any extra stress. So yeah, that feedback is good. It's very easy to say, oh, this isn't fitting, this isn't fitting, I'm going to go and use another lab. A lot of the time they come back after a few months saying, well, I was getting the same problems with the lab, but you are the only people who are actually trying to help me try and work out what the source of the problem is. And this is where we're removing the ego. Nobody's absolutely 100% perfect, but being able to take on the feedback and say, no, if we do this, let's work together. We carry on driving that percentage of remakes right the way down to the point where it's not just a fraction of 1%, it's a fraction of 0.1%. That's the next
I was
goal.
really excited. I thought that we got there this year just gone. I remember like being really happy. Oh, I think we're at 0.00 something. I realized I'd done the maths wrong. So I went back and oh, okay.
That's the same with anything. It's like
0.2%.
As great as digital is, unfortunately, there's always a human element in there.
Well, there you go. That was my mistake for the year.
But it felt good for that moment in time.
Yeah, but that's a good second. Yeah, now I've got something to shoot for.
Brilliant.
Cool. I mean, those are the notes that I had on this topic, really. But if we want to like just give our clients like something to take forward or like a takeaway from this,
I think communicate with us. Sometimes you might not be able to get through on the phone straight away because we're always busy. You've got the email addresses, info@costech.co.uk. Drop us an email and say, oh, I'm free at 3 o'clock or something. Can someone give me a call? And then the admin team will say, yep, I'm going to schedule that in. They've got access to our diaries. Someone will give you a call back. If you're seeing repeated trends or problems, or you're just seeing a general feeling of the work, let us know straight away. It's very easy just to say, oh, let's just go and find somewhere else. But if there's something that we can change internally to keep it nice and smooth, this is the best way to do it. Use the feedback forms, use the email address, any sort of feedback. Like David says, all feedback is good.
If we're doing something good, a bingo card of just things that David says that you can just tick off each day. Complaining about Spurs,
yeah,
pleased about Spurs, all feedback is good, fantastic. I love Mondays.
It's usually when coming in on a Monday morning, it's just like the drivers are giving a little. If the drivers go down with their heads down, it's like, oh, they lost. If David's sitting there
going. Yeah, I'll just say for my part, really encourage our dentists like engage with the platforms that we've put there, like the feedback forms on CosTech portal and things like that, because like it helps us to help you, if that makes sense. All of that stuff. Yeah, we obviously want to do really well, but when we're doing well, you're doing well, and vice versa. Like this is a collaborative process, and we've put these tools there because it's not like, okay, if I get 1 5-star review or 1 1-star review, it's not going to mean as much as if we can build up a picture of what's been happening. So the dentists, I think the clients we've worked with, we've seen the best results out of this are the ones that are engaging with it regularly. Even if you're just going on as like, yep, fit okay, yep, this was a bit high, or this one was okay, or this one was great, like whatever it is. But when it's that regular feedback that we're getting through those forms, that's where it shines for us. It really helps us. It's helped us become better and like more consistent as a laboratory. And the more people engage with that, the better results will be.
Perfect.
Also sign up to the weekly newsletter because I write them, and it's really nice to know that people are reading them and engaging with what we've got on there.
Ashok writes up the newsletters every week. I think you probably saw, so this is going out next week, so yesterday, so on the 22nd. Make sure you sign up for the summer kit, and everyone's, I think we've already had quite a few people. I might have to get some more kits made up because I think it's a lot of
it's the sunglasses they're doing, yeah.
It's the sunglasses. Everyone wants the sunglasses.
Yeah.
But the yeah, I want to see some pictures of people with their sunglasses in other countries and see how far CosTech can go around the world. That would be awesome.
Cool.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot, Ashok. That's
Yeah, no worries.
absolutely amazing. Hopefully, you guys watching, thank you very much for joining. And yeah, keep watching the videos, keep giving us the feedback. And as always, thank you very much for trusting CosTech to be your lab of choice and your perfect fit. So we'll see you next month.
Cool.
Brilliant.
See ya.
Cool. Take care.